Hey everyone, I'm DRP with Deep Roots Gaming. Today I'm building a wall mount PC out of stuff I have laying around. I've been planning on doing a new gaming PC build and thought what would look awesomer than a wall mounted PC. I ended up not being able to mount the graphics card the way I wanted to because of the size. I really needed a PCI extension but didn't have one laying around, so I left it out. You could easily rearrange some of the hardware and use that PCI extension to make it work, but like I said, I didn't have one. PC came out looking awesome, and after watching this video, you'll be able to make your own. So check out how I did it. Alright, what I got here is 3/4 inch just regular plywood, 14 by 18 and 7/8 inches. I'm going to end up sanding it down, making it a little bit prettier on the other side. And what I'm going to end up doing is taking a motherboard, and these are just old spare parts, a hard drive, and a power supply. Well, actually I guess it'll be like this. Put a hole somewhere and hide the wires back behind the board and mount it to this board. But I'm going to use these standoffs that I got off of Amazon for $5 or $10. I'm just going to end up taking a pen and marking my motherboard holes, marking them. Once I get them marked, I'll get a nail or something and I'll like pre-tap it. And once I pre-tap it, I'll take one of these standoffs and I'll go into that hole. And I'll keep doing that until I get all my standoffs. And I'm actually going to do a ATX motherboard. That's a micro, so I'll have more standoffs. But I'll get that done. I'll sand the board and then we'll come back. Alright, what I'm doing here is I'm taking this old PC and I'm salvaging what parts I can. So here I have the speaker, some switches, the LEDs. I'm going to use those in the new build. And then back around here at the back is the PCI bracket that I want to get out. So I'm going to take my Ryobi rotary tool and I'm going to cut this out. It's almost out. I got one more piece to cut. This is the piece that I want. I'm going to use it to mount my new graphics card. Alright, so I got my board stained and clear coated a little bit. As you can see, I got the pegs in. I used the high one so I can get better airflow beneath the motherboard. I forgot to mention in the top right corner, this thing right here is going to be the water cooler. I went ahead and got the hose marked. I'm going to drill this straight through the board and put like nuts and bolts more or less to lift the water cooler up off the board a little bit to get airflow underneath it as well. And then it bends. You can take your hard drive in and out, but I have a standard 2 terabyte right here. The other ones are not, but I marked where the power supply and where the brackets go, so I'm going to screw these brackets in. These are going to be basically the I guess weight bearing brackets for the power supply. Kind of hard to do one hand. And also I'm going to take this PCI bracket that I took off that other scrap computer. I'm going to mount it something like this so it'll hold my graphics card. I'll have like a full size, probably a 1080 in here. I need something to help bear the load. And also these LEDs that I took out of the old PC, I'm just going to screw a 1/4 inch drill bit somewhere like in here, and I'm going to run this from the back side so the lights shine through. And then this switch right here, I think I'm just going to drill like a, I don't know, like a 1 inch drill bit and kind of countersink it in the back side. I'm going to countersink it and I'm going to glue it. Then I'm going to put like a little switch, probably like a little wooden button up here, and that'll be my way to turn it off and on. Alright, so this is what the board looks like mostly finished. Got the brackets in down here for the power supply, and I made these little brackets that I'm going to use to attach to the front of the power supply. Actually, I'll do it like this. I'll tuck it underneath it. So I'll have this one and this one, kind of like that, attaching the front of the power supply. And I made those out of these PCI covers. Just cut it and then drilled it out, put little holes in it. These are pretty useful. Went ahead and got this hard drive caddy attached. As you can see, my LEDs are in there, recessed in the holes. I made a little push button. See if you can hear it click out of that button or that little switch I showed you earlier. But I made that little wooden peg out of a kebab stick. And then up here again, I've already pre-drilled these holes. This is gonna be for my all-in-one water cooler. And it'll be recessed, you know, it may stand up off the board a half inch or so. I'll just run bolts to the back side of this board, bring it up through there and attach the water cooler. Put the holes in here so you can run your power supply wires, hard drive wires, back up behind the board and come out and hopefully hit the places that it has the wires. On the back side is hot glued. Those LEDs and that switch in, and just put duct tape on the back to secure it more. Alright, so here's the back side of the wall mount face. Here's these cables that I took off an old PC. So I got those mounted, got the wires back here. I said I hot glued them and I put duct tape for just extra security. Now I'm going to add these 1x, something like that at the top, and then something like this at the bottom. So when it sits against the wall, it doesn't wobble. It gives me a little bit of airflow and a little bit of space to have cables behind it. Then I also have these, kind of an older LED system. Then I'm going to set these little LEDs, something like that, where it lights up behind it. It'll just be an always on blue light. So I have these that I'm going to add. And I have to think of a way to mount this speaker right here. So again, took that out of the same computer I got the switches and LEDs out of. Got this old speaker, just your onboard, I think it's your post beat. But I'm gonna mount it, but instead of just like gluing it, so it may come off, I'm gonna make one of these brackets. I'm using an old PCI that I've already bent a little bit. I'm gonna show you how I do it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm taking one of these PCI spare brackets that you get off at the back of your PC when you insert a graphics card. And I've measured where I want to bend it at. It's got some regular pliers here. I get it as straight as I can on that line. And what I'm going to do here is just going to bend it by hand. So I'm just forming a bracket out of spare parts that I got laying around. And I'll use a self-tapping screw or a metal drill bit, and I'll drill a little notch out here. I'll bend this one more time and drill a notch out. Then I have a bracket put over the speaker and hold it on. Then I have to bend it one more time. I'm sure you guys see where I'm going with this. Alright, so what I've done here is I put some little 1x like back spacers, so when it sits against the wall, it won't sit flush against the wall. It creates a little air cavity back here so air can still flow. And as you see, I countersunk the screws. They were 1 5/8 inch screws that I put right through the 1x into the board where it doesn't show on the front. I glued and clamped it down just to give it extra stability because it's going to be hanging probably off this bracket when I hang it on the wall. I went ahead and bracket for, this is like a little sound sensor that goes to my lights so you can have your lights jump with the music, I guess. There's the speakers, went ahead and mounted it. So there's the back of it. It's pretty much complete now. Alright, so some of my parts came in. I want to go ahead and get started on this. Right here we got the Z370 Killer by ASRock. It's the SLI version. I'm going to end up putting a i7 8700K. I can't remember if it's the K or it's the unlocked version. Then we have the Corsair 750 watt power supply. Went a little high on that just to be safe. Over here we have the Corsair H100i V2 all-in-one water cooler. That is what I use to cool it down. Here we got our standard 2 terabyte Western Digital. And with this right here, I went with a little something different. This is the new M2 PCI 3x4 little mini hard drive. It's supposed to be a lot faster than your standard SATA. Let's open this thing up. I'll show you what it looks like. So there it is. It's tiny. But I think it's supposed to be quite a bit faster than a SATA drive. So we'll use that as our operating system and a couple of priority programs. So So I'll go ahead and start unpackaging this stuff. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm putting on this all-in-one water cooler that I'm putting on this CPU bracket. You put it on the back side of your motherboard, start with this bracket, you push it up through the hose, and then you have these little screw studs that lock it in place. I'm going to go right to that. This is going to lock it in from the back side. I'm just going to put them in their finger tight for now. So I'll do all 4 of these. Alright, so the rest of my stuff came in i7 8700K unlocked so I can overclock it. Went with the G-Skills Tridentz DDR 3200. It's going to have RGB. That's going to be 16 gigabytes. Alright, we're going to unwrap that, get that put in. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but on the ASRock Killer motherboard, you want to use the A2, B2 slot for dual channel memory. So that's what I got there. Next we'll do the CPU. As you guys can see there, bottom left corner has a little triangle right there. That marks our corner of our CPU, so that's where we'll see it at. Now it's time to put our heatsink on our CPU, and even though our heatsink already has a little bit of thermal paste on it, I like to put a little bit extra on the CPU itself just for good measure. So let's go ahead and do that now. Just a little extra. Alright, so here it is complete. Looks like if you want to put a graphics card on here, you're going to have to use one of the smaller ones, at least the shorter ones like the pcies or whichever ones are. Just go ahead and fire it up. Come down here, press my button. As you see, can't see all the RGBs, but the RAM rotates colors. Put the Corsair on blue. There you go, you see that a little bit. And then down here you actually can't see it real well, but the chipset actually rotates colors too. I was going to do it all blue, but the rotating colors looks kind of neat. And then the blue lights behind the board give it like a shadow effect. We'll turn the lights out and I'll show you what I mean. See how it's glowing behind it? I'll just kind of show you the back of it. Throw some of this stuff first. So yeah, got neon lights behind it. A little controller back there as well. But yeah, that's what it'll look like on your wall. And I think when I mount it, I'm just going to use one of those, you know, smaller flat screen mount, one of those VESA mounts. Use that because it has a pretty good amount of weight on it, just to be safe. My wireless antennas. So there it is, wall mount PC, i7.